Hello, everyone, and welcome to a cube pod draft that we can do in Arena here. We are using this third party app to go ahead and draft cards from a cube that Spiffy made. I'll go ahead and put the link in the description for the cube that we're using. But we can actually draft cards on this website and then take our decks, import them into Magic Arena, and play our games with the brand new shiny, well, not quite brand new anymore, but the shiny client that Wizards has provided us. And we can draft not only standard legal sets anymore, but we can also be drafting cubes. So I am very much looking forward to this. We can do our pod draft here. And everyone's in. We're going to go ahead and make sure. We got 8. Just make sure everyone is game here. And we're good to go. We're going to go ahead and start the draft here. And this cube has a couple of different archetypes. And overall, just powerful cards. There's an artifact theme. There's a dinosaur theme. And we can also just be taking, good, powerful cards. Here's our pack 1. Pick one. No premium removal in the pack. It's like Capture Sphere is okay, Invoke is okay, Clasket's okay. None of those are super great removal. This is a good mythic, however, it's going to be awfully hard to cast. Triple white. Deeproot Champion could be interesting, but green typically wants to have creatures. I also just see Vraska Golgari Queen. This is a powerful, powerful planeswalker. I already have one of these crafted, which gives it an extra bonus point there. But I think we're just going to go ahead and take Vraska here and see where this takes us. I'm going to check, make sure everything is on the up and up there. And we got one Vraska to start, so we'd like to be green-black, or just, some combination of green, some combination of black, and splash her. She's good enough to splash. Here's one of the signpost uncommons for the red-white aggro go-wide deck. In this pack, we could also think about Goreclaw, but he wants us to be more creatures. We already have a powerful non-creature. I'm not super hyped about some of these other things. We could also just take a land to enable us to have some splash. Goreclaw's powerful. 4 mana, 4/3, with some very relevant text is good, and I think we'll just go ahead and pick him up here. Little awkward. Goreclaw and Vraska not working super well together, but they're both just powerful cards, and we'll start there. And we are leaning towards wanting to be green for sure. That being said, Mending of Dominaria, this is interesting, real high-end ramp. If we wanted to get up to even more mana, but it doesn't come down till 5. It is a way to recur value. Get the stuff we sacked with Vraska back. In fact, sacking lands with Vraska and getting them back with Mending seems like it would be awfully powerful to do. There's also just Bone Crusher Giant, which is a powerful card. We could go ahead and take this, consider it to be red-green splashing black. None of the black cards here are super great. Deadly Visit's fine. Here, I kind of just like the Bone Crusher Giant. It's a powerful 3-drop, has removal stapled onto it, and I like just going with what seems powerful here. That said, Goblin Barrage, this is removal. It's 4 mana to deal 4 to something. That's decent here. We got a land. I don't want to take the land quite here. This is just a ETB tap gain land. Crew is okay, but I'm not excited by it. I kind of just want to take Krenko. He can get out of hand fast, and maybe we're starting to go wide. We have 2 decent red spells. Let's go ahead and take Krenko there. None of those are working super well with Goreclaw. Although I see a Rasta here, and based on the rest of the pack, we could take Chandra's Outrage. This is removal, 4 mana, 4 damage. We didn't take the other 4 mana, 4 damage in red. We could go ahead and take this. Ancient Animus, I'm not in love with here. We don't have too many. Well, we got 2 legends, but that's not a ton. We could just take Arasta as a good card, or we can take Chandra's Outrage as good removal. We'll see if Hobby's able to reconnect here. Internet being unstable with some people, that happens. We'll go ahead and see if he can hop back in. And if not, we can replace him with a bot, and the bot will draft for him until he can reconnect. And we'll give him just a few more seconds here. It's looking like he might end up just being a bot for a minute. So let's go ahead and just grab up the Outrage. I'd rather have the removal spell here early. There's enough powerful things that we'll want to have to kill. Alright, as we progress down this train, Anax is amazing. He wants to go wide. He is also, works very well if we have some red devotion going on, and it looks like we might. We have 3 good red cards at this point. We're sort of off of the other stuff for the moment. So I kind of want Anax. Forerunner lets us tutor up a dinosaur. We don't have a dino. Yeah, let's just go ahead and take Anax as power card and see if we're sort of moving into red here. We might give up on these, first picks or so, but I'm not too sad about that. Nothing else here super exciting. We're going to go ahead and take the Stomping Ground. Being able to consistently cast things is amazing. So we'll snap that up here. We get a land. And that opens up, for sure, we can still be red-green. We just have a, a decent red start. If we end up getting dinosaurs, Goreclaw looks even better. Vraska's fine on a splash. So we have some, powerful ways that we can navigate this draft still. Banneret is a very aggressive card. Staggering Insight being here could be a sign that, this blue-white is open. Blue seems to be, relatively open. But we'll just take the Death Spitter. I'm not super thrilled with it. But it is a red creature. Right now we're cutting red. There was nothing else in the pack I was really going to take over it. So we'll take it, probably hoping to cut the Death Spitter. We're looking more like that. Here, we're kind of sad where we're at, doing this red stuff when we see no red cards in the pack, even though we've been seeing, really nice red cards so far. So, let's take a look. Crystal Slipper's red, but I don't like it. Let's just go ahead and take a Rakdos Locket. This could be a way to splash black for the Vraska. And again, we don't have to run this. Here we go. This is a little bit better. Don't like that. Tide's okay. We could take the aggressive 1-drop. And we could, consider even being, red-white at this point. We could splash something powerful in green or black. And we could just sort of be go wide red. Speaking of ways to splash, nothing else really in this pack for us. We could spec on something, but we'll go ahead and take the land here. We may not run it. It's not a great way to splash black, but if we are red-black, we'd absolutely like it. Here, we're not the artifact deck, so we're taking Ionize and ideally just cutting it right now. Blue's open. Flux Channeler's a way into blue. We can proliferate if we had stuff that mattered on. Krenko, it does matter. Vraska, it matters. So maybe we get there. And that's better. Aspect of Manticore's a fine trick. We're really an Icicle here. Another thing that matters with the Flux Channeler. And this is more what I'm talking about. We're going to go ahead and snap up Embercleave. It is a busted card, even in cube, and we're going to sort of want to push towards the red, go wide, attack, beat 'em down build. Other things in this pack, Siege Gang Commander would be great for that. I don't know if this will wheel. It's a fantastic card. And nothing else in here. Deadweight's, okay removal, but I'm just going to take the Embercleave. Pridemate's good in the life gain deck. But we're going to snap up the Embercleave. This is a great way to finish games in heavy red, and we're going to want to keep an eye out for just, go wide, smash people, borderline mono red, but mono red splash would work as well. And maybe we're doing other things other than splashing. I see 2 premium black removal spells here. I don't want to take, something as weak as a Goblin Instigator over them. And I think at this point we might be black splash green for Vraska. I'm not sure, but I really like both of these cards. Exile's not going to matter as much. I think I'd rather just have the Choops. Hey, we got something going on there. Thanks for the follow. We're going to take Choops here. I love Choops. And, Vraska's Contempt's also amazing. Instigator's okay. I'm going to stay in my lane, mama. We'll take that. One way that we could have some green in there. We'd like to have something different. Hijack gets interesting if we had sack outlets. We currently don't. Monster Star is not a bad top end for this deck. But overall, I'm really not loving some of the stuff we have going on here. Sun's Avatar gets a little bit more interesting if we have Goreclaw, so we could keep pushing that way. We're not sold on black here. Gravedigger's okay if we were doing more recursive things. I think we just want to be really beat down red. So I'm going to take the Monster Star as sort of a top end, and we really want lower drop red creatures at this point. We'd also love this Caves. But right here, Careless Celebrant, this is exactly what we're looking for. This is an aggressive red card. 2 power for 2 mana is where you want to be. And when this dies, you can fling the extra 2 and use it as removal. We don't currently have any 2-drops, so I want to take it, and we'd really love to have this Caves back, but we'll take the Celebrant here. So we have some outs to a green black or a black with some splash green, but we really just want red cards at this point. As said, no red cards here. We could look to white. Venerated Loxodon's a payoff for go wide. And we have a little bit of that, with Krenko. We could also just take the Vicious Offering. This is good removal. Get stuff out of our way. Smash in. Icon would be fine if we had, a lot of a single creature, but I'm not really seeing that right now. I'm going to go ahead and take Offering. It could be right to spec on white for the Loxodon, but let's just take the Offering. And here we could continue the sort of go wide sack stuff. We don't have any vampires to make this champion work. But what we do have is we do have some stuff that could make Slaughter Priest work. The Krenko tokens are great things to sack. There's also Blood Aspirant if we want to get into more of a sacrifice theme. Right now we have the Vicious Offering, which is fine for that. I'm going to go ahead and click on Slaughter Priest. If we're doing the sack thing, we want the gold uncommon for it. Wow, Psybeam here is a sign that maybe we should have gone blue artifacts. Both of those are good there. Here, we don't really just want to draw a card. Well, drawing a card's good. This helps us go wide. And continues that, we can draw a Vicious Offering. We have some sack synergies going, so I don't hate the 2-drop here that draws us a card. We're not going to care about our life total too much in this deck. This only really works with auras and equipments. Currently we have 0 of them. We might not hate a short sword in this deck. It'll just make our things a little bit bigger. We could also think about the game land for some green, but I really haven't seen green be open since our first few picks, so let's just pick up a short sword. This is nice. This is really expensive removal. Taskmaster is alright if we want to recur things, and getting back a Chupacabra or something seems nice. We could also just take a Blade Brand. This will help us push through damage, act as removal, and we sort of have some combos with it. I think, yeah, the Careless Celebrant combos with the Blade Brand pretty well. We can kill 2 things for the price of 1. That seems nice. Here, we could spec a little bit back towards white, but I don't really like it. Let's just pick up Diamond Mare. We're probably not running it. And yeah, with this Embercleave, we want all of the low drop creatures that we can to make this Embercleave better. Here I'll take a Hijack. We have a couple of things that ask us to sacrifice. It gets a little bit better there, and just stealing something from the opponent might be enough to push through damage in this deck. We'll go ahead and take the Flying Threat. I don't like anything else in this pack for us. In this, we have a bunch of different mana costs in this deck. At this point, we're probably not playing that. We're probably not playing Vraska. We could take a Steam Vents as a slight hedge towards, just going back to blue and trying to make that work. That being said, we'll go ahead and take, let's just say, Sailor of Means. Yeah, blue seems pretty open. We probably could have gotten into it at some point earlier here, but we're sort of on this track now. Let's just push it. We can take a Bedevil. That's a powerful card. Platinum Angel's a little bit rich for us here. If we don't take the Bedevil, we would just take like a Fabled Passage to make our mana better. So the real question here is, do we want better mana? And we're not running the Stomping Grounds. Or we can take the Lightning Strike. As you know, maybe a slight damage-based removal might be where we want. This can also just go to face, if that's what we need it to do. So Bedevil, better mana, or a Lightning Strike. We might be the only ones who want the Bedevil, so let's just go ahead and pick up the Lightning Strike here, see if the Bedevil comes around. Pretty weak pack for us. There's, some lands here that we don't really care about. We could take the Brawl Bash Ogre. This helps out with some sacrifice synergies, or we can take a sacrifice enabler in the Grim Initiate. I don't like this as a 4-mana 3/3. I never liked it in Core 19, so I think I'm just going to take the Initiate. Okay, Corvold. This is maybe the best payoff for doing some sacrifice shenanigans, and we're close to it. If we throw back in Vraska, we're red-black, we could splash green. And if we're not taking that, what are we taking here? Like a Shield Breaker? I don't know. Let's take a Corvold. This is our plan. It's Vraska, Corvold, and things that we're kind of fine sacrificing. I think that's the plan here. With that said, let's go ahead and take Angrath. This works with that. Pressures the opponent. Has a sacrifice, lets us steal something that we could then sacrifice. Seems good to me. So we got 2 powerful planeswalkers. Lots of things that want us to sacrifice. So we're sort of go wide, sacrifice. We might not run the Monster Star here. What else do we have that plays well with the sacrifice theme? Krenko does very well. The Locket, actually, we sacrifice it. Don't like the aspect of Manticore as well. There's lots of nice planeswalkers in this set. I appreciate that. Here we could take Reef Soul as removal. Lannery Storm, not really where we want to be. Knight, not really where we want to be. Pilot's Pillage, not really where we want to be. We'll just take a Blood Crypt, make our mana better. And if we are going to splash this little bit of green, we are bringing in that Stomping Ground. And the mana's shaping up better. People should really be higher on Mind Stone. We're snapping up Mind Stone here. Early on, this helps ramp you to your higher end stuff. Later in the game, you just crack it for a card. It's fantastic in the cube, and I'm surprised it's going pick 6. We're snapping that up here. Plus, it also reads Sacrifice, so anything that cares about sacrificing, Corvold or some other stuff, that matters. That actually matters. So, we have a pretty nice black red sack deck, splashing some green things that are help enable the sack, make the sack better. With that, Shivan Fire's good removal. We can fire it off early, get rid of a small thing, fire it off later. Scales with the game. It's comparing this in Shock. This can't go face, but it can do 4 later in the game if that's what you need. Shock can go face, but it's stuck at 2. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and pick up Shivan Fire. This does have a sack something, but I like the removal. Normally I would pick up the Rose's Blessing here. I think this is just good, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Dragon Egg. I don't know if that's correct, but we have a lot of things that, ask us to sacrifice. We have some sack outlets, and sacking the Dragon Egg is exactly what you want to do, and sometimes people act really scared about Dragon Egg. They don't want to attack into a Dragon Egg for some odd reason. They don't want to give you that 2/2 flyer for 3. But we're going to take that there. Called it Bedevil Wield. We want that over the Platinum Angel. This is not a Platinum Angel deck. We want to be lower to the ground, hidden, use our removal to get rid of blockers, let our Anax and our Krenko generate some token value, use our removal, and win with these, Planeswalkers and Corvold in the later game. Still don't love this here. We could take a Golgari. No, I can't take that. We'll take the Rakdos Locket. This makes our mana a little bit better. Lets us get up to these 4 and 5 drops. And later we can crack it for cards. And again, it says Sacrifice on it, so that could matter. We're not playing any of this. And we'll have some cuts to make here. I don't know if... We'll take a look. Hey, Caves is great. That's going to help our mana situation here. I don't really like Brawl Bash Ogre. We'll go ahead and throw him in the board. I like everything. I don't really like the aspect of Manticore. We'll take a Pirate's Pillage, but we're not going to run it. So we have 29 with 4 lands. That means we have 25. Take the blue card that no one wants. And take another blue card that no one seems to want. So we'll go ahead and build in here just a little bit more. I like everything in here besides Blade Brand, and I don't even know if I want Fervent Champion here. We could also consider going down 1 land. We don't have a great way to find green. We have, 1 green source, so we would want 2 here, 1 more there, and down 2 there. 5, 5, 2, plus a Baron more. I guess we have 2 black dual lands, so I guess I can back this off by 1. Increase our red count like that. And we could run, 12, 16 lands. With this deck, 16 lands, I don't think is too unreasonable. So we'll go ahead and export this to MTGA. And I will go over here and I will pull up Arena. And we'll go ahead and go in here into Decks and just click Import. And it'll have imported it right down here for us. It seems like we're missing a card. And right now it's a Dusk Legion Zealot and a Baronmore. And here we have a Skilled Animator. I don't mind spending uncommon wild cards. I just want to make sure we're not spending rares if we don't have to. We'll finish the deck. Yes, we want to craft. We know they're not available in Standard. We'll bling this deck out. And we'll go ahead and go with it as is. Maybe Short Sword is not going to be great in this deck. Maybe we just want to bring in, you know, a Death Spitter or something. Or we can bring in the Monster Star as sort of another top-end card. And I just absolutely cut it. Hey! Pep, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. We are hopping in here into what is soon to be the games with this cube deck that we just finished making. I accidentally put the Charging Monster Star in here, whereas we wanted it in the deck. And you're in, that's good. We'll go ahead and get a game started here soon. If we're putting that in, we have to cut, we were cutting the short sword. And I still think this is 16 lands. We're living fast and loose, and we have 2 other mana sources in here in the deck already that we can crack for cards. So let's go ahead. I need to find where I put the Discord. And we'll go ahead and set up the bracket. And see if people want to bracket it, or if everyone just wants to go ahead and challenge me. We'll just see how many people want to challenge me. We'll go with that. And this is... And I believe I have the number right, but we'll go ahead and check real quick. We're done. I like this deck. I'm going to go ahead and put Corvold, face of this deck. That's what we want to be doing. 43662 is correct. And we'll post it in the Discord. See if people are ready, and we'll go ahead and take the live challenges from our other pod drafters. Hey, Sherlock's there. We'll go ahead and accept, and go ahead and play him with his deck. He was Sherlock in this one. He probably has a different name on here. And Pep, I'll go ahead and do that. See if we can keep this. Oh, this is great. We'll go ahead and keep this. We got a 2 into a 3, and then with 1 more land of either color, we have a 4. Seems good. Hopefully we're beating them down. And there's that land we talked about, which means we have either of our 4-drops on 4, depending on what's relevant. We don't have our splash yet, but that's alright. We won't give them any more information. We'll go ahead and drop the Celebrant. Aw, they have the War Boss. That's what we wanted. We'll go ahead and take this. We can kill the War Boss, which is otherwise really dangerous for us. That's fantastic. So we'll go ahead and drop the Swamp. Drop the Egg. And what we can do is we can drop out Vraska and use the +2, sacrifice the egg, get our dragon out of it. So we could do that, or what we can also do is we can also just go ahead and drop Choops, kill that thing. Save it for a turn. And this is why I like the cycle lands here. We don't really need a 6 land for this deck, so we can cycle this, go ahead and get a card back out of it. Warbriar's Blessing, they can go ahead and kill Choops, that's alright. But we can Outrage, kill that. Make sure we play the right land. They'd have to discard a card and lose 2 life. Discarding cards seems good for them. So let's just go ahead and Outrage. 2 for 1 them there. And we'll cycle this end step. Go ahead and use our land to draw a card. They're bringing back the Phoenix. It's alright, it costs them their graveyard, and we have this Be Devil we can go ahead and fire off on it. We'll go ahead and play our gain land. And I like just going ahead and firing off Be Devil now. We want to clear the way for our Planeswalkers to do some work. They are also Jund, so we managed to find the mirror match. That's alright. Harpooner doesn't do anything on this board other than give him another creature. So we could Angrath. Although I like just Vraska, uptick Vraska, crack our egg.
We're alive. We're alive.
So yeah, let's go ahead and crack our egg, get a dragon, draw a card. Then we can play our swamp and put out a 5/5 flyer. That seems pretty good. Seems good to me. They're going to have a hard time getting through this board, and what we can actually do is we can use Angrath, -3 Angrath. No matter what the converted mana cost is, we can sack it. And let's go ahead and start out with the Mind Stone. Because then we can use the mana from the stone to go ahead and play Angrath. We can steal one of their things. Yeah, let's go ahead and steal one of their things. It will get sacrificed anyways, but we can actually sack it to Vraska for value. Okay. They did that correctly and sacked it to kill our stone. That's alright. We'll go ahead and still... We could destroy their thing, but let's go ahead and do this. Sacrifice a swamp. Draw a card, and we can play out the Fervent Champion. It doesn't attack on this board, but that's alright. This thing has reach. So we could attack in with this, but then we are risking our walkers, so I'm just going to say no attacks. We got good blocks. We have walkers on board. We want to win with powerful Planeswalker abilities at this point. Opponent sees it as well. Good game, Sherlocked. And we'll go ahead here into the next match. Into the next game of this match, rather. Nothing I really saw that I wanted to board in. Looks like our removal lined up pretty well. What we're doing lines up well. They saw these artifacts, so their Brontodon has some targets. They don't know about the Cleave yet, or about our Corvold or anything. So let's just go ahead and run it back. Deck performed beautifully, and let's see if it can do it again. Alright, who was Sherlocked in our draft log? I'm just trying to see. See if I can recognize by some of the picks if we saw any of this. I think I can show... Can I show everyone? Oh, it shows what colors people got into. Is it BSD? They first picked Karn. That's good. I'm just trying to see if we can figure out who we're playing here. Oh, and we are waiting. This doesn't line up super well. I'm not loving it, but we'll keep it. We got removal. We can, just play out gain lands and stuff. Play our shock lands tapped. Rixmati Reveler. Alright, that's good for them. Can discard to draw. We'll go ahead and drop the caves. Have really good mana to start this thing off. We could have sent an untapped land so that we had Lightning Strike up. But here we're going to go ahead and throw out the Krenko. Krenko doesn't have attacks yet. But if we, steal the Brontodon... It has attacks. Oh, no, it really doesn't have attacks. I like that here. So we'll just play another tapped land. We'll go ahead and throw out Anax. Anax is a 3/3, at least blocks some stuff. And next turn we'll have Hijack and Lightning Strike. We might be able to... Okay, Galta, that's a thing. We can steal Galta. For a turn. Okay, can we win here? That's sort of the question, is can we win here? I think we have to play a red source. We're going to hijack Galta. And we're going to see if swing out Lightning Strike face does enough. We're dead to Galta next turn by itself, so... I guess they could have Shock. They could just, like, Shock Krenko here. I don't think this is even enough damage unless they just... Even if they take it... If they take it all... If they don't block any of it... We can Lightning Strike for lethal. That's our one out here. Shock can't save them now because Krenko grew. So they have to just no blocks, take it all. Alright, they blocked. They did it correctly. We'll go ahead and push through damage. Oh, they can also... can activate the Brontodon to kill Anax. That's what they have up right now. If they do, can we survive Galta, though? I don't think so. I think we're dead to Galta one way or another. So yeah, they had to no blocks. And what we can do is we can Lightning Strike their face to just show that if they had blocked, if they had no block, they'd be dead. So thanks, good game. They got there. We'll no blocks, let them hit us for, what, 19? Yeah. And on to game number 4. Game number 3 of this match. And, wow, that seemed much more aggressive. Is he not in our pod, mama? That, what pod's he in? Was he from Nantuko's? If so, we're facing one of the ones from the Rare Cube. Our deck's holding up against someone in the Rare Cube, so there's that. Oh, yeah, he's in the wrong pool. Well, we'll finish this one out. Well, we'll go ahead and see if this one can get there anyways, because that'd be funny. Yeah, I think we just weren't careful with chat. Here, we'll go ahead and get in some cheeky damage. I was wondering, I was thinking, how are we both able to draft very nearly the same deck here? I would have thought the color would have been diluted enough at that point. Yeah, we need to be a little more careful about that. Right now, the Embodiment of Agonies is a 0/0, so we can't actually play it. But we can play out the Celebrant. Get in for 3. And we need, like, Mountain Embercleave. That'd be nice. Dusk Legion Zealot's not bad. Alright, we have an attack with this. We could just sacrifice... We'll be able to sacrifice the Dusk Legion Zealot. If they block, that gave us our value that we wanted from it already. And if they want to let us get in, that's fine. If they try to aura it up or anything, we can use the sacrifice ability, sacrifice our Celebrant, ping that thing for 2. Alright, that seems good. Also a very nice hijack target, if you ask me. We can also just Vraska. When we sacrifice things, this will still get pumped. It'll be able to get in for damage. And we can just sacrifice, you know, we can sacrifice the Careless Celebrant, ping that thing for 2, draw a card. Kind of like that.
Alive or alive?
We have an attack here. They could trade. I kind of don't think they're trading. If not, we're getting in for 4. That seems pretty good. We need one more mountain to just snag that thing and sack it. We can also just drop Corvold and see if he's enough. At this point, we have options. Rekindling Phoenix. We don't even have to block that. It can just go ahead and get through, and with Trample, there's no real sense in blocking it. Vraska only goes down to 1. And if we can steal and sack the Phoenix, it can't come back. So yeah, let's just go ahead and say go Corvold. We can sack our 1/1 that didn't do a whole lot for us. We can drop that. We can drop the Initiate. We can go ahead and sack the Initiate, draw a card. That'll pump Corvold. Also pumps the Slaughter Priest. This just trades off for the Phoenix and they get it back, so we don't have attacks here. But we do have a 6/6 now, which seems pretty good. We have double red, so we can hijack something and hopefully just win next turn because of that. Yeah, like hijacking the Phoenix, that with Corvold is enough. Well, tell Nantuko that we're gonna actually win this match here on our next turn. So we're gonna hijack the Phoenix. We have it with just the attack to face. Sacrifice another permanent. We might as well sacrifice that. More triggers. And we got him in the air. All right. Because I like stealing the dudes. It's fun. Uh, we only have the one copy of Hijack, and it's only because we have a couple of, half-decent sack outlets in here. But good games. Sonatech, I presume you're the one. Good games. And let's go ahead and see. We'll go back to the Discord and see if someone else from our actual cube. Which cube were we doing? It was the trying to remember the name of the cube. Spiffy's cube. Alright, we'll see. We'll put out the challenge. We'll see if someone from the cube that we actually drafted wants to go ahead and test against this deck. But we were able to beat someone from the rare cube, and that's pretty big. That's a pretty big deal. Sort of the mirroring colors anyways. Love this deck. Oh yeah, that's right. Pep, you sent me a friend request. We'll go ahead and set up the challenge. We'll do 40 card best of 3 and send it off. Play these cube decks. And we'll go ahead and select this one up. Well, thanks, Draco. Appreciate it. Glad Nantuko thinks we did well so far. That's good, Mama. Keep lurking. I know these first couple of times of doing cube, I don't know what I'm doing yet, and we go first. This is pretty nuts if we had, a third land, but we'll go ahead and mull this. This seems better. The Legion is at least a redraw. We'll keep this. And we could pitch the Outrage. We could pitch the Bedevil. We're definitely pitching one of those two. I think we want Cleave here. Bedevil just handles so much more than the Outrage. So we'll go Initiate, Dusk Legion Zealot, hopefully a 3-drop, and then we can Ember Cleave him on 4. That seems good. Hey, alright, we got a follower. Thanks, Run Duncan Run. Here, we could use the redraw from the Zealot, but let's just go ahead and put out more damage on board. Red-white, so they're likely trying to attack us before we can attack them. So, if we probably just Dusk Legion Zealot here. We'll have good attacks if we can get to Embercleave mana. We could also just Mind Stone, but I don't think Mind Stone does enough here. So let's Dusk Legion Zealot, looking for a land. We find it. And we actually have an attack with the Initiate. We'll take it. Resplendent Angel. That's something we're gonna want to be Devil as soon as we reasonably can. Don't have it here, but on attack all we do have Cleave, and we punish no matter what their blocks are. At least one of them we can kill the Angel. So we might as well go for it. See if they recognize the Embercleave Tell here. And yeah, we'll go ahead and cleave that thing up. kills their Eidolon, and we get over for a trample damage. Keep pushing damage, and we can just equip 3, and that's not going to be too bad here. You know, we can tap 2 lands, drop the stone, play Cleave, equip up Cleave to the Initiate. And it'll threaten to hit in for 4. That's not irrelevant. And if they play any, you know, X2 even, we can tap that. We can Mind Stone, and then we can equip the Cleave. Get in there for 4, unless they have some removal. Alright, we still get a dude. And you know what? A 1/1 token still wears an Embercleave. It doesn't wear it super well, but it does wear it. We also threaten to turn anything into a giant threat with this Embercleave here. We don't care too much about Adanto Vanguard. They can give it indestructible, but Embercleave can get in with trample damage. Right now, our biggest threat is this darn Angel. Keeps cracking in. So I say we just go ahead and take out the Angel. This only gets the plus extra if it's attacking. It won't be attacking, so we can go ahead and get in with our Embercleave dude here. And if they want to lose their Vanguard for this, I'm fine with that. They exiled our Celebrant, but if we can get this off the field, we don't really have a way to do that. We'd get our Dino. So this Vanguard attack's alright right now. They do get the extra life gain from that, which is not irrelevant. We may end up just cracking this Mind Stone for a card. But we got Angrath. What does Angrath get us? It gets us their last card. And presents something that they have to try to attack into. Or we can steal their Adanto Vanguard and get rid of the Vanguard for good. I kind of like, let's get rid of the Adanto Vanguard for good. Yeah, it means giving up Angrath, but this Adanto Vanguard's basically the biggest threat they have right now. And I want to just get it off the board. We'll sack the Mind Stone end of turn. And if we attack all, I think we're still winning this race. We get the Adanto Vanguard off the board. They have to spend a point of damage trying to go after Angrath here. Or threaten to just be run over by Planeswalker value. We got a cleaved up 1/1, and we can draw a card off of this Mind Stone. Or they can just make a big enough dude that we're dead. Alright, good game. They had the Perforos' intervention. If we had known that, we could have maybe stripped it from their hand, or they top-decked it. Either way, good game, opponent. And we'll go ahead and see if we can get there here in game 2. We see that they're aggro, you know, go wide-esque. We could bring in the aspect of Manticore, but I don't really like that. I think our deck's good. We could, you know, bring in like the Diamond Mare if we want to try to be more of a grindy deck, and I think that might be where we're at. We'll just cut this Monster Star, throw in the Diamond Mare named Red, and see if we can just go a little bit longer with this deck. We still want Corvold to be the box art. So yeah, let's see. They want to be, you know, really hyper aggro. We'll see if we can play the slightly longer attrition-y, sacrifice-y game plan here and see if that does it. So we have a plan. It's usually best to play first. Yeah, we'll play first just so that they can't. And this seems fine. We'll go ahead and keep it. We have one drop. We have removal for one of their things. And then hopefully we draw another mountain for the annex. And start making a big annex. Doesn't hurt. We'll get in, a few points of damage with this Fervent Champion. And if the Fervent Champion's not relevant, they drop something huge. We can sack it to the offering to have it be, removal. It 2-for-1s us, but if the threat's big enough, it might just be worth it. So it's also a little awkward. We have both our forests. We only have 2 in the whole deck, and they're both right here in our hand. Alright, we have attacks through that. I don't think we're going to be offering, so we might as well play the tap land. That'll give us our double red next turn for the annex. Danto Vanguard. Something we might be vicious offering here in the near future. But let's just go Swamp. And do we want to say go Annex? Yeah, let's say go Annex. And then I still don't like attacking him with the champion. Yeah, they could pay 4 life, and maybe the champion's worth 4 life, but I'd rather hold on to our board with, a Krenko coming down. We can go Krenko, and then we can sack one of the tokens from Krenko to Vicious Offering, or use Vicious Offering to try to get through what they have going on with Krenko. That seems good to me. Equipping up the Vanguard. They have attacks with the Adanto. We don't have blocks. So with Embercleave, we don't have attacks right now, but we might very well have, quite good attacks next turn between Krenko and Cleave. We could attack in with the Annex now. It pushes some damage. Fervent Champion, they could double block and we'd take out, one or the other. Not thrilled about that. I'd rather have, one extra attacker next turn to make this Cleave cost less. And if Cleave costs less, it means we can actually Vicious Offering and Cleave next turn, assuming they don't have removal here. If they have removal here, then we have to rethink the plan. But a Johnny, Planeswalker time. So they're just going to counter their dudes up. Don't have great blocks here. They're holding. It looks like they might hold back the Adanto as a blocker. Jeez, that's not right. Okay. Okay, if they're holding it back, we're fine with that. We can swing over here to Johnny and actually use the Offering plus Cleave. We have good attacks against the Johnny here. We want to get that off the board, and then we can start beating face in with Cleave. Alright, they are attacking with everything. That's 8. We're not going to block here. One attack with Krenko gives us chump blockers for this Vanguard. And let's see here. We'll play that. We don't want to play the Locket. We want to be able to hold up both the Offering and Cleave. So let's go ahead and move to attacks. We could attack these 2. Let's attack that at face. I know that. And I guess we're just throwing Annex there. Equal to Krenko's power. So we could... if Krenko attacks a Johnny and we cleave it up, that works. So yeah, let's go ahead and Krenko there. I'm going to go into full control here. I think we figured out the line. But we're going to go full control. This way we're going to get an extra point. So yeah, Fervent Champion goes on. That goes on. In response to the Krenko trigger, we're going to go ahead and slap this on Krenko so that it is a better attacker. And we'll get an extra... We'll get an extra Goblin off of this trigger. And we're for sure killing a Johnny. We got chump blockers for days. And we can actually use one in combination with a Vicious Offering. So seems good, seems good. A little bit complicated to pull off, but...
I will fight on.
And with the extra red devotion, it actually makes Anax huge. If we had thrown it on Anax, I still don't think we would have had... I guess we could have swung them all at them and then tried to cleave. Cleave plus Anax is pretty powerful. But we'll end the turn there. We got chump blockers for everything. We can Vicious Offering something. On their turn, we can just go ahead and move the cleave to Anax and tell them they have to have something pretty spectacular to stop all that trample damage. I like that. They have removal for Anax now. That hurts some, but Krenko wearing cleave is also pretty powerful. If they try to use removal, we can sack in response. Good game, no way out of it for Pep there. We'll go ahead and move on here to game 3. I still think running as more the defensive deck is the right move, but that time, you know, Embercleave is just such an amazing aggro card that it got there. Yeah, we could have... Yeah, I was looking at that line later. I was so worried about trying to kill the Ajani that lethal with Anax probably was just as good. But we got there anyways, and I think maybe we played around... Well, they were tapped out, so we weren't really needing to play around anything. But it stabilized us for future turns, I think. So, it's... Yeah. We could analyze that match for a while, but we got there. We'll keep this one pretty much on the power of, you know, 1-drop, Mind Stone. Hopefully that, you know, accelerates us enough. We got a 2-drop here if we can find black. That's a problem. Luckily, it's a problem that Fervent Champion blocks very well. Here, we're not going to attack. We'd rather have our first strike blocker back. Here's our first strike thing. And now we just have our black mana. I think the acceleration is worth it here, so we're going to drop the Mind Stone. No attacks, hold back. We'll take 2 from Eidolon for a while, if that's what it takes. Yeah, no blocks here. This is blocking our other 2-1 so well. I don't want to give it up yet. We want to be able to get this Corvold on board, and then Corvold can start taking over the game. So here, we'll drop the land, and I want to play the Rakdos Locket in this, so I think if we tap like this, play this, then we can tap for red and still have the Slaughter Priest. No attacks. Corvold blocks this well. We have some sack fodder now in the form of, you know, the champion. If we end up sacking that, I'm not super upset. We can hijack something in a future turn, sack it to the Corvold trigger. Here, they're saying they have something, otherwise they wouldn't attack with the Aspirant. Oh, they're just giving it flying. That's fine. We want to get their flyer out of the picture soon. Bloodfilled Caves gains us life, stabilizes us a little bit more, and when this enters, we have to sack something. So we could just sacrifice. Trying to think, what do we sacrifice? Whenever it attacks, we have to sacrifice. And when it comes in. So I don't hate... What can we sack? We could just sack the Slaughter Priest. It's not doing a ton for us. The alternative is to sack the Forest. But that's one of only a few green sources in our deck, and we'd really like to be able to play Vraska if we draw her. So we could also sacrifice a land. If we sacrifice any land, we're giving up one of these spells in hand. And I also don't want to sacrifice the stone or this. These are going to be cards later. So we'll just go ahead and sack that. He gets a trigger. But now we just have a 5/5 flyer. Dusk Legion Zealot will be a great thing to sack. No attacks. And yeah, we have a Corvold on board. In cube on turn 4. So beat that, Pep. Yeah, if you're gonna splash green, splashing it for a powerful Brawl deck Mythic doesn't seem like the worst thing. We could also hijack their most annoying thing and sack it to the Corvold attack trigger. Well, that's annoying. They can throw something in the air. They have to have something pretty spectacular here to save their dude. And I think it's worth it to try to take out this Pegasus. We lose to it. If not, Divine Arrow. Yeah, we still 2-for-1 them there. I don't love losing that. We could be Devil something. We can also just Dusk Legion Zealot and Krenko. This is a 3/3 flyer. Maybe that's a little bit better than the 1/2 right now. 3/3 blocks their stuff effectively right now, and we're sort of slowing it down. This was our updated game plan. Slow down the game. We have the Bedevil for their flyer here. We can do that and Krenko this turn. And no attacks. We want to sit back. We want to go ahead and win with value. Our Corvold's gone, which is one of our, maybe better ways to win. But we'll just go ahead and, rely on stuff like Choops. Kill their flyers. They got one more, but it doesn't matter too much. We could hijack something, but we don't have the sack outlet for it. If we attack in with the Krenko, they don't have great blocks. And if they want to 2-for-1 themselves against Krenko, I'm fine with that. And Krenko will start to get out of hand here soon. We got a lot of fodder. And we'll go ahead and just end the turn there. We can draw using the Mind Stone now. We have this pretty well on lockdown at this point. We have to be careful of this Castle Embrith. That enables them, at least an attack. We have to be a little careful about how we block in that situation, but we're looking pretty good at this point. And these mana rocks are going to be a great thing that we have now. because we can just crack them for cards. They did their job early. They ramped us to an early Corvold. Now that we have 5 mana out, we can be cracking them to get cards back out of them. So they're pretty powerful when you're going long games. Good games, Pip. Yeah, Corvold on turn 4. That's that's a heck of a start. GG's Pip. Yeah, Corvold on turn 4. That's a pretty big ask to overcome in any sort of limited game there. Good job killing him. I kind of thought there might be a divine arrow there, but it was gonna be a 2-for-1, so we decided it was worth it. But yeah, great games. I love this cube. This is fantastic. We'll go ahead and post our message once again. We're 436. I need to write down what number I am in the profile. 43662. That's what I've been typing. I just want to make sure that we're correct. Yeah, I think it was an interesting choice going more defensive, but when we're facing Boros aggro and we have 2 planeswalkers in the deck, I want to survive to the point in the game when I can allow my planeswalkers and Corvold and the other powerful things like Embercleave to just dominate the game, whereas Boros wants to, beat down and be as in your face as possible, and going for slightly more defensive in that situation, I think, is right. Normally this deck, we'll pull it up here while we wait for challengers. It typically, I think, wants to be aggro. Corvold is more of an aggro card than it is anything else. Embercleave is an aggressive card. Vraska's sort of aggressive. It wants to, sack your stuff early. It never wants you to, have just a ton of resources out there. It wants to get in and just keep giving you fuel with drawing a card. And if you can ever get to the ultimate, then the opponent is just so pressured to have to do something. Bone Crusher. We never saw Bone Crusher once. But this wants to be aggressive. A 3 mana, 4/3. It has a shock attached to it. Krenko's an aggressive card. Anax is aggressive. Hijack is aggressive. But if you look at it from the defensive state, well, what do we have going on here? We have a Vicious Offering. We have Lightning Strike. We have Embodiment. These are later game cards. Good removal. These are good removal early or late with Vicious Offering. Hey, Kathos. We'll go ahead and accept this challenge here. But yeah, I figured if we can survive to the late game, we get our Angrath specifically. And Angrath just strips your opponent's hand. They can't hold on to resources. Oh, this is fantastic. Oh gosh, this feels like a standard mono red burn deck. We're gonna start out with a gain land because, of course, why not? But then we can drop the Celebrant on 2, Anax on 3, and potentially even Cleave on 4 on the attack. That down, I'm a little bit worried that we could just hold up Lightning Strike, but let's throw out the Celebrant. They're going to have a hard time finding attacks through the Celebrant. Just because it can deal a total of 4 to their thing. Alright, we know that they're going for the equipment. I still think we're just going to Anax here. And we have an attack, but we can also just hold it back. We threaten to kill either one of those with the trigger right now. Them having a good bit of green. Alright, they kill the Anax. That's a little bit sad. We get a 1/1 that can't block. We could block that and kill the Champion of the Flame, and then we still just have the Lightning Strike. I kind of like that here. So, can we do 2 spell? Yeah, we can lock it and lightning strike, so I like that. Let's eat up their resources and go ahead and get in with the 1/1. They're down to 4 cards. We have Krenko plus Cleave. We were able to do that 1 game. We'll see if we can do it again. Arasta's nice. We can 2 spell here at least. And we actually will have attacks with Krenko next turn with the Cleave up. The question will be... Alright, Savage Stomp on that. That's good. Good job, opponent. And we could... Yeah, I like going ahead and doing this here. Because we can cleave up the resulting dragon. We can also just Monster Sar here and smash in for a good bit of damage. Let's start there. Activate the ability. Hit him for 8. And we have a flyer that we can cleave and then hopefully pump some. And that gives us some options. So we'll likely throw this 1/1 at them to make cleave cost 1 less. And then we can triple pump the dragon plus the cleave. And that gets us cleanly through the Arasta. Alright, them killing that means that's no longer an option. We might as well Fervent Champion here. And then we can attack all. And still cleave up our dragon. And double pump the dragon. And hit him for lethal. Totally saw that line. Yeah, so the power of Ember Cleave is you just win games out of absolutely nowhere. They thought they were safe to attack, they looked like they were beating down, and we found lethal through Fire Breathing and Ember Cleave, which is a heck of a combo. Alright, we got time. We can do a few more with this deck. Let's go ahead back over to the Discord, see if anyone else wants to play. Anyone in chat who was part of our draft, I'll give you guys first shot. If anyone here was part of the draft of the cube and wants to play, go ahead and shoot me a friend request. Let me put my my friend code in here so that you guys can add me. If you add me, we can go ahead and play out games of it. So I'll give chat first chance, but I'm going to go ahead and post in the Discord where we started this and see if anyone there wants a shot at a pretty sweet Jun deck that we were able to get. Going on, Ryan was over in the rare cube, Draco. So we could cross play the cubes as well. That worked out well last time for us. I mean, I'm up for that again. And we'll put that there. See if anyone else wants a shot at this deck. Deck is sweet. You know, normally the only time I've ever seen Corvold played is in the, the Cat Oven decks that were in Standard a little while ago, and I guess still are. But getting to play him in something else is a ton of fun. Obviously, he's really good there, but in this deck, we have a good number of sack synergies. I think the egg came through for us there. It birthed us a dragon that was able to hit for lethal with the Ember Cleave. We have good removal in this deck. Couple of, mana accelerants here. They're not signets, but Mind Stone's pretty darn close. And the Locket being able to produce some colored mana has mattered once or twice. I think we were able to play the Slaughter Priest off of it, where you can't do that off the colorless source here. Hey, Draco. Alright, we'll go ahead and accept this challenge. He's been in chat here, and see how he fares against the Jun Machine. Gonna go. I like to be surprised. Oh, yeah. No stream sniping. But yeah. Yeah, it's all good. I'm the one streaming these. I know that people can be watching. I'm fine with that. We're still gonna beat them. I'll be a little arrogant. And then we'll see, maybe after this one, if there's no one else who wants to play, we'll go ahead and see if we can fire off a second cube. See what Nantuko's guys are up to as well. And if they just want to combine and do one. Ooh. Terrible hand, one lander, can't keep it. And we'll go ahead and keep this one, and I think we're just going to pitch back a mountain. We still have 1-drop, 2-drop, and we'll threaten this later. We'll do that. We'll run out the Fervent Champion, get in for cheeky damage here. There's another First Striker. So here, we'll go ahead and drop that, drop the Celebrant. We still have a block against it. Not as nice of a block, but it's still a block. Banneret. Is this just a guilds deck? It seems like it's just some sort of guilds deck. We got the Shivan Fire. We can hold up Shivan Fire at instant speed to blow out what they're doing. That plus Bedevil seems like it's going to be a good play for us right here. This is going to become a problem at some point. We don't have... I guess... Nope, that doesn't target enchantment. So, the Dawn of Hope will be a problem. Ranger of Eos. We got nothing we can do there. They get their ETB. And we can, of course, just go ahead and Shivan Fire that at the end of their turn. Fairy Guide Mother and Grim Initiate. That's bad. They can... We might be able to blow them out when they go for the Fairy Guide Mother pump. And we can hold up both of these if we shock ourselves. So let's hold off. Vicious Offering, another way to do it. We'll go ahead and pay the 2 life and pass the turn. We're going to blow them out when they try to Gift of the Fae on one of their creatures. Get our 2 for 1, which should hopefully mitigate some of their, 3 for 1 they had going on there. They could be thinking to just make a 1/1. They're going to go ahead and make a 1/1, so... We'll go ahead and let that happen. See how they want to attack. And here we're going to go ahead and have to fire off some amount of removal. Just to keep them off of things. We don't get anything else if we fire it off with Kicker, so we're just going to kill their First Striker. And go to our turn. Here, we're just going to Choops. Kill probably the Ranger. And then we I guess have attacks. Yeah, I'm kind of fine trading off things because it'll make this embodiment a little bit bigger here soon. And if they don't want to, that's fine. We have a 2/2 that blocks their 1/1 pretty well. This has Mentor, which I'm kind of sad about. We're going to have to kill a, 1-drop Goblin Bannerer. Alright, they miss the attack trigger, but they get their Legion's Landing to flip. And we're going to kill their Lifelinker. They can pump this for damage at this point, but that's all it would get them. They could also just pay 2 to draw a card. I see. We're a little bit choked on black mana. We can only do so much of this. And with that, we're likely just holding back. I do want to kill the banner, but we'll see if we can do it in such a way that we get at least a 2-for-1 off of it. Maybe more than that. Master Splicer. That's bad news. And if they try to fire off removal, then, we can use the Vicious Offering to get around that. We may just be Devil. I so don't want to be Devil a Banneret here, but I fear that we might just have to. It threatens to do too much on this board. Our Fervent Champion, I guess, had good blocks against it, but it would get to mentor something. Here we can play that and just run out the Monstrosar as a decent attacker. Let's do that. If they want to trade some stuff for a Monstrosar, I'm totally good with that. Even, like this 4/4 and something else. All good with that. We just want to try to clear this board a little bit more. It was getting really cluttered. Yeah, we know that they have this Fairy Guide Mother in hand, and we want to be able to blow that out with Vicious Offering, but they have a space to cast it here. And all of this is hopefully feeding to a bigger embodiment of Agonies. Well, this screams trick. We actually have a block here. We have a block here, and I don't want to take that trade. But these are fine blocks. They need 2 things here to make this bad for us. Otherwise, we take 2. And right now we have, 3 pretty distinct mana costs in our graveyard for this Agonies. The Agonies, if anyone wants to read it there. It gets counters for each distinct mana cost that we have there. And right now we have 3 of our more distinctive ones. A 5-drop, this intensive mana cost, and a single red, which we don't have a ton of. So that Pegasus Courser is something that's a problem enough that we're going to have to kill it, and then we can drop the Agonies afterwards. Here, again, no attacks. We're holding back. Make them make the moves. And we know they have that Fairy Guide Mother in hand. Why they haven't, spent the resources to go ahead and activate that so we could Vicious Offering whatever they try to put it on is... we could make it so that this never hits. But I don't mind having it hit. We can still sack it at instant speed. Yeah, here we're gonna go ahead and do it. We'll kick her to kill this, sack this, and we'll take out the token. Oh, it lost all abilities when it landed. Oops, should have done it earlier. Oh well. We can play this out as a 5-5. That might just be good enough. Or we can cycle this, keep looking for action for a turn, and be able to play that later. Or still play it this turn. You know, that works. Don't have attacks here. But now we have a 5-5 in the air. And we can either use it as a blocker or just start beating in. They might have the heroic reinforcements, so keeping their board small is helping with that. That's pretty much what I'm most afraid of here. We know we have the cleave in our deck. But it's likely that in red-white they have the heroic reinforcements. And yeah, I'm fine with most of this. I'm wondering what they have that pumps a ton. So let's go ahead and do this. They can still make more dudes, but we just ate a bunch of theirs. They're Realm Cloak Gianting to wipe the board. Okay, that makes sense now. Well, that's terrible for us. I didn't think Spiffy's cube had board wipes. I guess it does now. We'll drop that, but we're sort of in the tank now. Our best hope is, hey, Draco. I know this isn't the deck you drafted here tonight. We have the Krenko. Draco could not have been in our draft. It's likely he was probably in the Nantuko one. Let me check. We gotta go ahead and kill this Krenko or we die. Okay, he was in the other draft. I was wondering. I remember Spiffy saying that he didn't put any board wipes in, so when I saw the destroy all creatures, I became quite suspect of that. This buys us a chump. That buys us 2 more chumps. And threatens to just block that. So we got a couple of chumps out of this. Actually, he can just send it into the air and kill us, can't he? Shh, let's make him see it. Alright, chat, he saw it. Yeah, I gotta really up my game when I'm playing against an entirely different cube. Especially one that's centered around a bunch of rares. Good game, Draco. Oh, we have sideboarding. Okay, well, with sideboarding, how do we go ahead and do this? We gotta get him now. We just gotta get him. What can we do? They're aggro, but they also have a late game. I want to bring in the Diamond Mare again, go down the Monster Soar, and we'll try it like that again. We've beaten everyone we played in our cube. And we beat one person from the Nantuko cube. Oh, we'll see if we can get there again. Are they working on... They may be trying to draft again. I'm trying to take a look at the Discord, see what they're doing. Oh, they want to do the power cube on Friday. Okay, that makes sense now. That makes a whole lot of sense now. Okay. I was really excited. We had Ryan jump into ours. I thought he was gonna be part of this, and then he ran over to Nantuko's. Oh well. I'll see if I can play with him on Friday. I'm up to draft the power cube if they need another spot. I think I have at least one of a lot of the rares from most of the sets. I don't have full play sets, but I have at least one ofs. Hey, this is all right. I have not tried that cube yet. No, I've only tried the Spiffy cube here, and I have been having an absolute blast with it. Oh, we have Tron. Undefeated in mono white. Awesome job, Mama. They have there's just mono white in that cube. It seems like it'd be pretty good. We can go ahead and we could Diamond Mare, but we want to name Red with it. I'd rather just Dusk Legion Zealot to draw a card. Yeah, like that. We got a Bone Crusher Giant, so we can go ahead and fire off the removal on this 1/1 flyer they got. Oh, and Dawn of Hope again. I don't like that card. If we do that, I kind of want to have Diamond Mare out first. We'll name Red. And then we have some options on our next turn we'll have to talk through. We could drop, depending on what they do here, we could drop Vraska. Yeah, share that deck. Ooh, okay. We'll probably just Bone Crusher Giant, kill that, and Slaughter Priest. Which, I want to make sure it taps properly. Kill their go wide option. Oh, good job. This is a pretty sweet cube. I'm loving it. We have an attack with the Mare. Sure. Yeah, I have. This is my first time drafting. Well, other than the other night, this is the first time drafting cube. And this has been an absolute blast. So we could Angrath. Well, actually, we can't Angrath because of this a cycle land, but we'll play it tapped. And I think we just outrage their attacker. Hit him for some damage, and then we still have an attack with a Diamond Mare. Then next turn we can drop Angrath and start attacking their hand. We can steal something as long as it's less than 3 mana. Well, steal and sack it if it's less than 3. Thank you, Microsoft. I will not take note of that. Okay, do they still have attacks with that? What's our play? We can't Angrath. We could steal Daxos, or we can just... Let's just start going after their hand. Making them discard seems good here.
No fire, no steel.
They'll have to spend resources to try to kill Angrath at this pace. And we're going to try to grind. We can also drop Vraska next turn, start sacking some of these dead lands. Gideon Blackblade.
Prime day for justice.
Okay. Angrath can't kill that. Vraska can. Oh yeah, I'll take a look at that in the Discord here later, Mama.
I believe in you, friend.
What did they give it? They gave it indestructible so that we have a good block with the Diamond Mare. Guess they gain a life. So yeah, I think what we have to do here is we're going to have to Vraska to kill Gideon.
Your demise won't be quick.
Alright, Gideon off the board. Keep ticking up
No
Angrath.
fire,
Make him
no
discard. Put him on a, pretty strict resource restriction here. Baffling End, that's an answer for some of what we're doing. No attacks here, end turn. And we'll actually have the sack ability there. We can like sack the Dusk Legion Zealot. Block with it, sack, give this something. They want to keep going wide. They're going wide, gaining life. That's not great. We might need to Angrath steal Daxos. That extra life gain could become a serious problem later. We can also hijack something to steal it. So we could steal with... If we steal with hijack, what's that get us? I don't know if I like that as well. Let's steal with Angrath.
Your crew for my freedom.
Then we can actually go Bone Crusher Giant. Dragon Egg. We'll gain the extra life with Daxos over here, so that's kind of nice. We can sacrifice our own Dragon Egg to Vraska, and I kind of like that.
The ends justified.
And that sack is going to pump the Slaughter Priest. They'd have to 2-for-1 themselves there. So I don't hate that. I'm not quite sure what they did there. But yeah, we were able to get rid of Daxos because of the ability there. Okay, Realm Cloak is nasty. But we still have a giant, so... and we can actually hijack and sack that when it comes down. So I like that a lot. We'll go ahead and make him discard here.
No fire, no steel.
We want to keep Vraska alive. So we're going to tick up Vraska and sack... I think we'll just sack this land. And we have removal. We'll just go ahead and drop Krenko. So we have two different answers. We can hijack it, steal it, swing out. That's when it comes down. It can't actually come down yet, but we have answers. Realm Cloak kills all the creatures, and yeah, we were doing much better on creatures than them, but we also have these two walkers over here, which by themselves are going to do enough work for us. So they can do that and also put out something with the Dawn of Hope, which is kind of nice for them, but we'll go ahead and make them discard that last card.
No fire, no steel.
Which could have helped them. We'll hold on to both of these, and we'll sack. I think we'll sack just a mountain with this ability.
Except me.
Yep, we get a mountain back in return. Might as well attack. We're gonna get some 1/1s with the Krenko trigger. No blocks, I like that. We'll just end the turn. We have our two chumpers here. Our planeswalkers are at sufficiently high loyalty. Hammer Skull. That's something we could go ahead and take out with the Chupacabra. Yeah, we'll let him go ahead and get this extra +1/+1 counter there. Kill that.
Ah, you're nothing but slag when I'm done.
They gain some life, but all we have to do is choops. Kill it. And get in there. Alright. Well, despite the fact that it's a different cube, we got there. And it looks like we're going to go to game 3. I have enjoyed the Diamond Mare in this deck over that random 5-drop dinosaur. It gained us enough life there that I think we were stable. Are they doing a war draft over in the Discord here? Yeah, it looks like they're gonna do a war draft. We'll see if we can get into that after we're done here. See if they need another one. If not, we'll call it there. But right now, we're seeing if we can beat someone who is using a different cube, a rare and mythic cube, using our Spiffy cube. Let me go find the link to that cube here. I think I have it up. Do I still have it up? It's over in the Discord. Let me post it here. Cube. Here's Spiffy's. So here's the link to the cube that we are using right now. Really been enjoying drafting with it. I was dinos last night with this cube, and tonight we are red-black sack, you know, with a Jund splash to really take advantage of it. 2 cards that love sacrificing things that are good sack outlets, and we got 2 powerful planeswalkers. This is a little bit iffy, but I think we'll keep it. We get at least a turn 3 Anax. So we'll keep, but this is definitely an iffy keep. Gets a lot better with a Grim Initiate. At least some play. If we can draw a black and be able to go turn 2 Dusk Legion Zealot, this hand's suddenly looking very good. We do not, so we'll just go ahead and run out the tap land. We don't have attacks, we'll pass it on over. Alright, first striker, that's a bit of a problem for us. But Anax is big enough that it doesn't care. And there's no pump ability on this. Nope. Legion's Landing. Seems good. They attack all, they at least get to flip the Legion's Landing. So here we'll Dusk Legion Zealot. Keep digging. Looks like they're stuck on 2. Even just flipping this for, you know, another mana source might not be bad. But I think with how wide we are here, we can actually punish that pretty good. So I think we were able to take away their attacks there. This being a 4/3's good. Us being able to fling around 2 damage will be nice. And all of a sudden, it went so very wrong. But we can still block here. This is still a fine block for us. And then we can throw the 2 damage on the Stalwart. And if they want to save it with some sort of pump here... okay, God's willing. That's fine. It saves it, but it was still decent enough for us. We don't really have anything great with Hijack. We'll go ahead and just tap this now before I forget. Run out the Dragon Egg. And if we're not blocking, we should be attacking. But we might use this Grim Initiate as just a chump, depending on what they do here. Dueling Grim Initiates. Hammer Skull, that's a great aggro card for him here. And we are under the gun pretty hard. And that made it so much better. We can go ahead and kill the Hammer Skull, which is going to be our biggest... That's going to be our biggest issue here. We might as well just do it now. We'll tap this while I remember. No attacks. We have okay blocks. Nothing spectacular, but okay blocks. They can use this stalwart to pump that, so actually we don't have great blocks. Are we giving up the egg to prevent damage here? If so, I guess it doesn't really matter. And take 4. And then we'll have a 2-2, which will at least threaten to block something. Well, except these all have first strike. So we'd have to, like, team block. So all the first strike running around is making that a nightmare. And now they have another mentor creature. Ugh. This is not looking so hot. Embodiment of Agonies does something. And if we hijack first, that increases its power. We can't sack anything with it, but it would be a 4/4 at least. So let's do that. And with that off, all of our stuff becomes much better at chumping at least. So we could go ahead and steal like this stalwart. Oh yeah, the peasant cubes. I'll have to check those out. So let's go ahead and... I don't love this, but we'll go ahead and hijack the stalwart to put a counter on one of our things. And now we can drop the Embodiment of Agonies as a 4/4, which should be big enough that it blocks the stuff that they're doing finally. And I guess we have a fire-breathing ability that's still up. So, Embodiment now... would block, except they're going to kill it here. And we're going to have to be careful about even how we block. So that cleanly eats there. I think we have to trade there. Yeah. Okay. That can kill the stalwart or the initiate. Yeah, those are especially good if, you know, the account's newer, you don't have a great backlog of especially some of these old sets. It's like, these are excellent cards. You'd have to spend wild cards on. Some of them are even, you know, like the Angrath, that's a mythic that you can only play within Historic. And that's got to feel bad for some people. So we probably should have killed that before the attack. Here, we'll go ahead and block, like, this, like, I guess this one doesn't really matter. Trade there. We have the Lightning Strike if they try something. We get a bunch of tokens. They gain a bunch of life. We can kill this Daxos now. I kind of like it. Let's just kill Daxos. That has a problem, but... that gains us a life. These can't block, so they might as well attack. Shocking themselves. Hero of the Nyxborn. Oh no, now they're very wide. What's Ryan's thing? Not dead yet. Mostly dead. We can at least Mind Stone, crack the Mind Stone for a redraw. Well, Angraf. I think that technically saves us a turn. We steal the Initiate, we get the extra Amass, which might not be irrelevant.
Here, monsters.
Then at least they don't get it. Actually, I think we're still just dead. There was no way we were getting around that. Unless they decide, well, yeah, they can block and eat a token. Those tokens aren't blocking anyways. We sack it. Oh, if only that could block. I think we're exactly one... We're dead Exaxes. And that doesn't help. But we were still doing alright outside of that. Alright, good game, Draco. Drafting with a different cube. I see what you're doing there. They were good games, though. They seemed, you know, at least pretty tight. We got there one of the games. So I'm happy with that. Happy enough with that result. They were trying to get a war draft going. Is that still happening? Let me go check it out. Oh, they're currently drafting. Okay, so we did miss that other draft, but I think I'm gonna let everyone hear for tonight. Those were fun games. I have really enjoyed the cube. We'll give everyone one last look at the deck. And I had a blast here tonight. We had, you know, Embercleave. We got to play with Corvold. Angrass, a card I haven't gotten to play with in, you know, more than a year or so here on Arena. He was in one of my first decks. It was just sort of Grixis Walkers. And getting to see him again tonight, that was a great throwback. Love getting to play with some of this stuff. Very powerful. Love this cube. Having a great time with it. And looking forward to doing some more cube here in the future. As long as we have people to draft with, we're gonna keep cubing. Good game, Draco. Different cube, but I think our decks were fairly evenly matched there. You were able to. It was throwback. Thank you, River. I appreciate the constant comments on my grammar. That's much appreciated here. He's my brother. I can do that. But yeah, appreciate everyone hanging out here tonight. This is a great throwback to being able to draft and play with some older cards mixed with newer cards. Mind Stone. It's fantastic. I really enjoyed this here tonight. Looking forward to doing more cubes. And if someone in the channel makes a cube, bring it on over to the Going Optimal Discord. There's a lot of people there who are itching to go ahead and play your cubes on Arena right now. And I'm sure that when the Arena Cube comes out here in a few weeks, maybe just a week or so at this point, that we're going to recreate that cube, and we're going to pod draft that thing. So they might only be able to offer cube sealed on Arena, but we are going to be doing cube pod draft with that cube when it comes out. And we got a bunch of other cubes we can draft with. Having a great time. Have a good evening, everyone. Enjoyed this, and I will catch you again tomorrow evening when we go ahead and try to do some more cube drafting. So see everyone then. Have a good evening. Take care.